Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at the final straw that ended a friendship. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. When I was a freshman in college, I shared a room with my best friend from high school. I kept a diary that I wrote in every day, and I would hide it in my locked closet. One day, I came back from class to find her reading out loud from my diary to a group of our friends. She had broken into the closet just to get the diary. I haven't spoken to that bitch in 30 plus years. She broke into the closet just so she can pull this move? Just to read it out loud to her group of friends? Why would you do that? Like, what's even so amusing about someone's diary? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's their life experiences. It has nothing to do with you. Why? And screw those friends too, because they were listening. No one stopped it. No one was like, no, I don't think you should do that. Yeah, you shouldn't read through someone's diary. Nobody stepped up. Screw all those people. My best friend of over 20 years. We both had kids about the same age and our daughters were also best friends. She left her then 15-year-old with me for a week while she went on a trip to Bali. No problem at all, and her daughter attempted to end her life. I took her to hospital, got care for her, sat by her for 3 days, made sure she was set up with a social worker, got her connected with the local mental health unit and youth services team, and put a plan in place to help her recover and move forward, etc., etc. Obviously, I'd called her mum on day one and kept her appraised, but this woman not only didn't change her flights and come home because it would have cost $200 to change the flights, she literally told me, oh, you don't have to go to the hospital every day to sit with her. That's what nurses are for. And then when she finally got back, she flipped out at me for parenting her child behind her back. I'm still in contact with the kid. She's living independently and working as a baker's apprentice. She's got no contact with her mother, but she still rings me up when she needs a grown-up to talk to. I would never speak to that friend again. Good. That's not even just a bad friend. She's literally a bad person, a bad mother, a bad everything. How do you hear that your kid almost ended their own lives and you don't feel anything? All you think about is money? Like, she's not even worried at all. People would treat their own freaking dogs better than that mom treated her own kid. Her daughter probably knows that her mom doesn't even care about her. I'm so glad that this person was there, because seriously, this person changed that kid's life. And I'm glad the kid made no contact with the mom, because what the actual hell? And the mom, instead of thanking her friend, she was literally like, why would you do that? Why would you parent my kid? Why would you bring my kid to the hospital? Why? I felt like I was doing all the legwork. I started every conversation, was the first one to email, text, etc. So one day I decided I was going to wait for her to message first. And sure, here we are 18 years later. Oh, that's so sad. Kept borrowing money for me to feed the kids or get the kids medications. It's an emergency. And surely they were destitute. These instances were plausible. But one day, after being told one of the kids had been hospitalized and released home, and between the Uber rides to and from the hospital, they did not have enough for his meds at the pharmacy. I signed on to Facebook and saw pictures of them, sick kid included, at a block party. Destroyed the friendship for me. For the record, I never expected them to pay back borrowed money for food or medicine. I was happy to help. Those kids were like my kids too. It was betrayal and finding out I wasn't loved like I loved that got me. Oh, that's so sad. But seriously, imagine using your friend just for money and you're using your kids as an excuse and you're lying. Oh my goodness, why? Like, how are you such a terrible person that this is what you have to do? Everything was someone else's fault, on both the macro and micro levels. If it was an interpersonal issue, it was never him at fault ever. Relationship problems, always his partner's at fault. Even when the same reasons caused each other breakup. Got into a verbal altercation at the bar, someone else's fault completely. It was too exhausting. Oh. That is exhausting. When someone can't take accountability for anything, yep. It's better to just leave. When I realized that me being a good friend to her was actually just me being a caretaker with poor boundaries and putting up with years of emotional abuse. When that fog lifted, it was completely life-changing. Yo! You know what? That is so true. When you remove the toxic people from your life, that's when you can see clearly again. Isn't that crazy? It's like when they're there with you, nothing is ever clear in your mind. And you feel like you're always the one at fault. Once they're gone, it's just like, wow. They were the trouble. He kept having kids with different girls, then bailing on them. I just couldn't watch it anymore. I left after the third one. Pretty sure he's like 6 or 7 now. 6 or 7 kids with different people? What the hell? What the frick? Imagine you having like 6 step siblings somewhere because your dad just couldn't keep it in. He was banging my wife for 3 years and had the audacity to say that it was my fault. Yeah, I would smack the living out of someone if they said that to me. I realized that I was the only one that reached out, so I stopped reaching out, and that was that. Aww. You know what though? I feel like a lot of adult friendships are like that. Even if one person wasn't at fault, it's just how people drift apart. They just have different priorities now. And that's sad. I was diagnosed with cancer a year after moving across the country from my friends from high school. I didn't ask for them to do anything, except play some online games with me while I recovered from surgery. Not one of them did. They were playing other games I could see in my various friend lists, but none of them would put aside the games they were playing to keep me company and take my mind off of things. No texts, no phone calls, nothing. The only thing I asked for was time and online company, and they put in zero effort. This was the last straw in a long string of feeling like an afterthought. It's been 9 years and not a single one of them has even tried to contact me since. Guess being an afterthought was too optimistic even. Wow, none of them. They could have just played like a game for like even an hour. Nothing. I do hope this person is feeling better though, and they found better online friends. Better friends to play games with. Found out he slept with my high school girlfriend and held that secret for 10 years. He also invited my 13-year-old sister out to drink and party with his friends. Drew the line, ended the friendship, and clocked him in the door for that one. I didn't learn he slept with my high school girlfriend until many years after the friendship ended, but that made a lot of things make complete sense. He was always extremely angry and ticked off at me whenever I spent time with her. He was never a friend, really. Yo! What? Okay, you know what? Like, screw the best friend, right? But also, the girlfriend, screw that girlfriend. You're sleeping with your boyfriend's best friend? What is wrong with her? And that friend is a bit sus. Why are you inviting a 13-year-old to your party? She was a key witness to my rape trial, but was too lazy to go into the police station to make a statement. She had 3 years to do it. I lost the trial, but it was close. I'll always wonder if I would have got justice if she had done it. Yeah, I think they definitely would have gotten justice. Because she was a key witness, right? There's such a big difference to not having a key witness there versus having one there. What is wrong with a friend? I mean, yes, it is scary, but like, wouldn't you want to help your friend out? Like, it's such a serious issue and you're just not gonna do it? What? Everything was a competition that my friend had to win. The day that she noticed my brand new jug and said that hers was bigger was the day I realized I didn't want to be friends anymore. Yo, that's crazy. Competition over a jug? She literally took being competitive too seriously. Because why the hell would you be competitive over a freaking jug too? Like, exam results, I can see that, but like a jug? Okay, like, alright. We were supposed to move in together, the first move away from our parents. Fortunately, we were renting from my parents. Because the night before our move-in date, he called me to say he had gotten his own apartment earlier that day, without me. He then listed entirely everything about me that annoyed him, and every mistake and flaw I had that he knew about. Since he was my best friend, it was a lot. There was no sign this was coming. We had only ever argued a couple of times. I never knew that so much about me was so distasteful to him. I was devastated. A couple of weeks later, he called me and came over until I spoke to him. He was very apologetic, for reasons I would have completely understood had he told me. He had a breakdown and realized he needed to live on his own. Knowing it was going to mess things up for me, he made it my fault. He said he didn't mean any of it and was horrified about how he treated me. Yet it was so detailed and specific, going back years to incidents that I had no idea were an issue. There was just no fixing it. I could never feel comfortable and trust him again. On one hand, I miss people I used to know. I don't miss him or think of him often. My daughter doesn't know who he is when he comes across old pictures of us, but she knows about other old friends since I mentioned them. Wow, that's so like unexpected. How do you even like process that, right? Because it's like you feel like nothing happened. And then all of a sudden, everything just comes down. You know, you're just like, everything's fine. We're going to move in together. We're going to be so happy. And then, boom. Freaking boom. Your best friend is like, well, this is why I don't want to move in with you. This is why, this is why, this is why, this is why. Yo. Down. Like, you know what? If I was best friends with someone and they had all these problems with me, I would definitely want them to tell me when it happens. Not for them to bottle it up and then all of a sudden just boom, right? Because I can't fix all those things at one time. But if they tell me every single time it happens, then at least I know and I can still make an effort to change and not make them feel bad if anything that I did made them feel bad kind of thing. But if all of a sudden they just tell me, well, I'm going to end our friendship now because of all these reasons, I'm actually going to be so blindsided because I didn't even know that they were a problem. And I definitely feel like for best friends, I'm always going to try to fix something. I don't want the friendship to end. You know, like if I can change, I would definitely change. But I do feel like for some people, it does depend on how long they feel like they've known someone and what the connection is. But I've known my best friend since we were kids, since we were like 4 years old, because our parents knew each other. So it's like for that friendship to end, I think it would change my life. Because I think if you've known someone for so long, they're like a part of your life. A part of them has definitely shaped you into the person that you are now. So it is crazy for like a friendship to just end because of things that you never knew about. Whew. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are. And as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.